To make sure you have enough strength to even start working specifically on the planche press, you need to master two things. And the first one is the planche hold, obviously. Around 3 to 5 seconds is more than enough. And the planche negatives. And that's a thing most people are struggling with, because the planche negatives requires a lot of technique also, and it's not purely power or strength. So here is what you should think of. Going from the handstand position to a planche position is very leaning forward driven. So I have to think about leaning as forward as possible until I'm reaching the planche position, and that's where I'm staying at. So you want to lead with the main joints from the upper body to the lower body. So I'm going to use my head forward and then pushing with my shoulders, then protracting my scapula and depression and external rotation in my shoulder, and only then leading with my pelvis, and only then the last thing that comes is my feet. I want to lead from the upper body to the lower body, and that's what's going to require to hold the perfect planche position after going down from a handstand position. And the higher your planche is, the easier it's going to be, because you're going to use less range of motion through the movement from going from the planche position to the handstand position. For example, if I'm retracted, or maybe even if I'm elevated with my shoulders like that, my planche is going to be low. I'm going to be closer to the ground. And going from here to a handstand position, I need to do a lot of range of motion. Instead, if I'm higher, if I'm using protraction and depression in my shoulder, in my scapulas, now I'm going to be way further than the ground, and it's going to be way easier. The range of motion is way shorter. So you need to realize and maximize the height in your planche, but at the same time you shouldn't do a different planche than you are doing regularly. So the form isn't a different form from holding a planche position. No, you just have to max out your regular form and doing it every single time. And one of the most common mistakes about maxing height in planche is you are thinking about going as further as possible from the ground, and what you are creating is a piked position, and it's not something you want to do. So the height has to come mainly from protraction and not from something else. I used to think the planche press has to be a super strict move where I'm doing it only from my shoulders, and that's where I was wrong at, because if I'm only doing it from the shoulder flexion like that, I will never be able to do it as explosive as possible, and I will not be able to actually save strength and do more repetitions. So yeah, it might be the cleanest form possible, but you will not be able to actually convert them into more reps, into more explosive ones. And yes, it might look very clean to the naked eye, but it's not what you should aim specifically for. So instead, you have to do it obviously clean as well, but from here, not only doing this, also using your whole body in a way where it still is clean. So going here, and instead of doing this, I'm doing with my whole body. So now the movement is way more explosive and faster, and at the same time, explosive doesn't mean it's not controlled. So it's both at the same time. And keeping the tempo of the repetitions of the presses at the same timing is super crucial if you want to do more than one repetition, because if you're going in a tempo where you're doing the presses super fast and one of the negatives is super slow, the next press is going to be way harder than it should have been. So instead, you have to keep the flow of pressing up from the planche position and going down from the handstand position at the same timing. And once you master it, it's way easier to actually do more than one. So your goal is not only to be as high as possible and also to use as explosive as possible, you also have to keep the tension and the timing at the same pattern.
So after you enter the position, what you're thinking of is doing this with your legs, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually true, but what you're missing is this. Like after you did with the legs here, in this position, you need to think about also doing it with the hips. And because you are not doing it, what happens from this position is you are almost in a banana shape, as you can tell, okay?
Hmm.
So this is the cue that you are missing. And also from this position, you did it kind of good in this set. I know sometimes you're forgetting, but to tuck your head in. So it will allow you to make it from this position of the shoulder to a handstand position, like almost effortlessly. So these three cues will allow you to make the presses more technical than just using the muscles.
Okay.
So about the negatives also, and also one of the most important ones is basically do and think about it with doing it here like that as fast as possible. So it's
Okay.
not only about thinking of the legs, it's also thinking of driving your shoulders as fast as possible.
Okay.
This tip I'm about to show you is a super important one, and I saved it for last for the most advanced people out here that are watching this video. And I'm going to analyze one of my sets where I did XXX set going from push-ups to presses, and I'm going to cover out how I made the press easier after the push-ups. Okay, so this is my leaning right here. And as you can tell, I'm pretty high in planches. I talked about it earlier. And just before I'm about to press it, I'm just leaning a bit slightly more from what I used to. So as you can tell, this is my height, leaning a bit more, and then I'm starting the press. It makes it a bit easier because you're shifting the gravity of mass and it's allowing you to press more easily. So if you are mastering this thing, it can actually benefit you in the long run and make it easier to press from push-ups, presses, from holds, and so on. So I hope you like the video. And if you want to apply into my one-on-one coaching, I'm having a link in the description and you can book a call with me and see ya.